Well, hello there EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup, baby, where you pick our winners and losers. This week, I'm joined by the old firecrotch himself. It's Joseph Tomlinson.
Yes.
Thank you for stepping in. Van Straten has the sniffles, mate.
Yeah, pathetic. Get over it, Van Straten. Get over it, mate.
Starting in his homeland with our first winners. Who are Ajax? And this comes from Jefufguf. It's a terrible handle, mate. You need to change that pronto. And he's put the Lancers in there. Why?
Yes, of course, they beat Feyenoord 1-4 at, I'm going to go with De Kuip. I've never known how to say it. It might be De Kuip. With all of the goals coming in the second half. But the result almost comes as little to no surprise. In fact, in the last 40 de Classicas at Feyenoord's ground, the home side have won only 8. So they really have a poor record. And this was a scrappy game. The pass accuracy was only 70% between the two sides. That's the lowest in the Eredivisie in the entirety of this season. But Martel Keitz's side had one little game changer, didn't they? David Neres, the 20-year-old Brazilian winger, completed a hat-trick of assists. His touch and reverse balls were absolutely incredible, weren't they, Hamster? He actually produced a really well-rounded performance. 6 key passes, 3 dribbles, 3 tackles, and 43 passes. He was the standout in this game, but it's not the first time. In his first 23 fixtures at the club, he's been involved in a goal every 72 minutes. Neres looks particularly impressive, but he's not the only youngster on good form, is he, Hamster?
No, Kasper Dolberg finally opened his account this season. He's not been a regular fixture in that starting XI, unusually after bagging 16 goals last season. He's only made 3 starts and 6 sub-appearances thus far, but he came off the bench and grabbed himself a double in this game. However, the goals have not been lacking at Ajax in this campaign. They've stuck away 12 in their last 3 league games, with Neres and Huntelaar leading the way on 4 goals. And despite creating a similar amount of chances to the home side in this game, I think Ajax outshot them ever so slightly with 13-10. The visitors put almost double the amount of efforts on target with 7-4, and it paid dividends. Clash and Huntelaar, who opened proceedings, now has 9 goals in the Classica, the same amount as Johan Cruyff and Marco van Basten.
Big names.
So the Hunter, definitely a club legend, that further solidifying it. Now Ajax, they're still 5 points behind PSV in the title race. They've made an explosive start to the season, Philip Koku's men. But Eredivisie fans, who do you think is going to win the league? Let us know in the poll just above.
Next up, we've got a regular contributor. It's Mika Dorzinho. Big up yourself, Mika. Who is he suggesting, Hamster?
Well, he's put Napoli in the bin, my friend, because they drew 0-0 with Inter Milan at the Stadio San Paolo, which means they dropped points for the first time this season and lost to City earlier in the week.
Yeah, harsh though.
2 tough ties, and a 0-0 with a resurgent Inter Milan isn't the worst, but they were at home and they did dominate the game. They had 62% possession, they had more shots with 13-11 and more on target, 2 with 4 shots to Inter's paltry 2. But they couldn't find a way past the inspired goalkeeper, Samir Handanovic. Mika Dorzinho was not the only one who suggested Handanovic. He had a hell of a game. Now Insigne, who has 3 goals and 4 assists for the Little Donkeys this season, had a game-high 5 shots. So he found the goalkeeper a particular foe on the night. But yes, pick of the display was a superb double save from Jose Callejon and Dries Mertens, whose confidence might have been knocked after that dreadful penalty against Manchester City. But at the other end of the pitch, Raul Albiol, he did clear an effort off the line from Veliano. So I think Spalletti probably be more pleased of the 2 managers.
Yeah, definitely. I think Inter did pretty well to keep Napoli out at all. Of course, going into this game, the Little Donkeys were the Serie A top scorers. They've been overtaken now by Juventus, who stuck 6 past Udinese. But Napoli were averaging 2.5 goals per game. So to keep them to 0 is very, very impressive for Inter Milan. But you would say at the other end, Inter struggled to break down Napoli's defence. They took 55% of their shots from outside the box. They didn't have a single effort from inside the 6-yard box, which is often where goals are scored from. Napoli as well stuck to their really high intensity style, that short passing that's been so effective this season. 728 passes at a 90% completion rate.
That's
incredible.
insane.
Absolutely incredible. Next up for Napoli, who we all want to win Serie A, by the way. They play 15th place Genoa in the league on Wednesday, but Inter host Sampdoria at the San Siro on Tuesday. So two more tough games for both sides, but I think Inter will be slightly happier. So Napoli, tough one, but you're in the losers.
Staying in the Serie A, and Malav Fozdar has suggested we put the old lady in our winners section because the hag is back on top, baby, in style.
Yes, she is. She came back from behind to beat Udinese 6-2 away from home. An absolute thumping, despite the fact they went 1-0 down within 10 minutes. A goal by former Chelsea player Stipe Perica. Remember the name, and of course they hit back for an OG, and Sami Khedira. What on earth is he doing? I'm going to talk about him in just a second, but Mario Mandzukic as well did get sent off in this game. Now, he is quite an aggressive player, old Mario. Likes to have a word with the ref, and the axe came down on him this time. One word too many, sent off for dissent and a second yellow card. But then Sami Khedira stepped up to the plate, grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and said, I'm having a bit of this. Scored a hattie, the first of his entire career. What is he doing scoring hat-tricks? Another player involved in the goals, Daniele Rugani, a goal and an assist from centre-half. He's been back up to Benatia over the last few weeks. What's he doing getting involved in the goals? Somebody have a word with the Juventus boys. Let the strikers score the goals, for God's sake.
Oh yes, and it appears that Udinese was struggling to score against 10 men, a more compact Juve side, a Juve side playing on the break, using their pace and dynamism in the bar lot to cause all sorts of problems, because 11 versus 11, 2-1. Mandzukic, as you said, head on the chopping block, gone. Score 11 versus 10. It soon went 4-1 to Juventus. I think Udinese got an inferiority complex, and now Juve, currently Serie A's top goal scorers, as we said before, have overtaken Napoli with 27 goals in 9 games. That's 3 a game.
It's ridiculous.
And who says Serie A is boring? However, their defence has declined, which you'd expect somewhat with Barzagli ageing, Bonucci's sale, Chiellini's ageing a little bit as well, Benatia and Rugani rotating. They're now conceding, mamma mia, they're now conceding 1 a game as opposed to 0.7 a game last season, so almost a third more. So that might become a problem in the latter parts of the season, especially if Napoli still maintain that form. Napoli, Inter and Roma have actually all conceded 5 goals. So that's 4 fewer. Not something
great.
you expect from Juventus, whose success in recent years has been owing to their solid foundations. But they're not top, like I said earlier. They remain 3 points behind Napoli and 1 behind Inter. That makes them 3rd. So well done, me. Moving on to the next section.
Our next loser comes from Darshan Kava 2809 on Twitter. But who's he suggesting, Hamstar?
He is suggesting PSG, despite their unbeaten start to the Ligue 1 campaign, despite being 4 points to the good at the summit of Ligue 1. They drew 2-2 with Marseille, and Neymar got sent off, and I think that's why he suggested it, and that's why we've put him in our losers. But yeah, it was a good game. I watched the extended highlights this morning. Marseille opened proceedings with the Louis Gustavo goal after 16 minutes. That's the quickest they've actually scored against their fierce rivals since 2011. It's a North versus South divide, you see.
Hate each other.
They do. Absolutely despise one another. More so than Marseille fans.
Yeah.
I think, just
Lobbing bottles and stuff.
hate everything PSG stand for. But yes, Neymar, the man in question, equalised not long after, but their headlines won't be for the goals. He saw a red card on the 87th minute when PSG were 2-1 down. He was getting pulled everywhere by the Olympic Marseille players, who were clearly given a directive to wind him up because he's not got the best temperament, has he?
No, he hasn't.
He can throw his toys out the pram. He's very culpable of that, and it worked. And it was a very ill-tempered game, as the red card would suggest, with 32 fouls over the 90 minutes. How does that compare to an El Clasico? How does that compare to an Old Firm game? I'm not sure, because George Wright phoned it in on the script, and this is absolutely turgid stuff.
But as you'd expect, PSG did dominate this game, 67% possession, and they doubled the amount of passes to their opposition. But with all their firepower, they were somehow outshot by Olympique Marseille, who had 11 shots. 3 of them, though, only 3 were on target, but still managed to get the 2 goals. And as you said, Neymar might have been sent off, but such is the PSG star power. They had Cavani, who could step up, and what a sumptuous free kick that was to grab a late point in the south of France. He's now got 9 in 9 so far this season. He's also got 2 assists. Only Falcao has more Ligue 1 goals this season. PSG's next game is against Nice, who on paper, tough opposition, but Nice are in really poor form themselves. They've lost 3 on the bounce, most recently a loss to relegation candidates Strasbourg. So PSG will be hoping for an easier game than the Marseille match, but Neymar, stop being such a bitch, pushing people about. Nevertheless, you're a loser.
Our next winners come from @GeorgePTNL, and he's picked La Liga's surprise package of the opening parts of the season. It is Marcelino's Valencia.
Yes, this was a thumping on the weekend. They put Sevilla to the sword, 4-0. But despite the scoreline slightly more even than the goals would suggest, 52% possession Valencia had. Both sides had 18 shots, but Valencia had 8 on target, and clinical finishing was the key. And if you need clinical finishing, there's only one place to go. It's Simone Zaza. His last 7 shots on target have all resulted in goals. The Italian now has 8 in his last 9 appearances and is only behind Leo Messi in the La Liga goal-scoring charts. But Valencia, as a side, are glorious to watch. There's not much better than them in Europe right now. In fact, in their last 5 league games, they've scored 3 or more goals in every single one. And there's a certain Portuguese who set the Mestalla on fire at the weekend.
Yes.
Gonzalo Guedes.
Yes, the PSG loanee, formerly of Benfica, who we talked up on last year's transfer review as an immense prospect, is truly showing his worth in Valencia and has been involved in more goals than any other Portuguese player in Europe's top 5 leagues. And when you consider they're experiencing a golden generation at current and obviously have the irreplaceable Ciron, that's pretty impressive. On the night, the 20-year-old had 5 shots, 3 shots on target, scoring twice, and is an absolute gas merchant. The kid, his pace is an unbelievable weapon. However, he's not just a sharpshooter, he's not just an athlete, he's also a bit of a creator as well. He has a lot of strings to his bow, does this boy. He created 5 chances on the night for his teammates and completed 3 dribbles from the left-hand side. Similar to that of Neres, who we spoke about with Ajax, he can come in from a wide position. He can create, bring teammates into it. And yeah, it just looks remarkably well-rounded for someone so young. And even more remarkably, Valencia are still unbeaten in the league, especially given they were relegation candidates last season, as I said before, and they have 3 winnable fixtures coming up.
Yes.
In Alaves, Leganes, very sound at the back, having conceded in over 500 minutes, so they might provide somewhat of a test. And Espanyol, who I think aren't having the greatest of seasons. Might be wrong, might be Malaga, I might be getting confused with, who knows. But this Sevilla side look well and truly lost without their talismanic manager, Jorge Sampaoli. Their most productive player on the night, Muriel, had 6 shots, only 1 of them came on target, and that sort of encompasses their efforts, the Sevillans, is that a word? I'm not sure. But they've lost 2 on the bounce now and face Leganes next to, as I just said, very impressive defensively, so not the easiest of ties. So they may well appear in our losers section again next week. Not in our losers section this week. On the back of the winners, aren't they? So, moving on.
Our final losers, Borussia Dortmund, yeah. This one comes from KViz511. Are they as bad as my accent?
No, but almost, because they drew 2-2 with Eintracht Frankfurt, allowing Bayern to slither their way back to the top of the league, joint now on points, and they're in a losers section for consecutive weeks because they threw away a 2-0 lead no doubt if Peter Bosz had hair, it would be falling out at this point, because in October, they are yet to win, and they've only won 1 in their last 5 games, Joseph, after that explosive start that I think saw them only concede 1 goal in their opening 6 ties. Now, we discussed Bayern Munich in a little bit more detail over on Football Daily. A little bit of crossover here with your section, isn't there? But we thought, you know, plug it. Hopefully you watch both, enjoy both. Don't castigate us too much if you're doing 2 German clubs. But yeah, not a great performance from the attacking unit at Dortmund, despite having 20 shots on the day. Aubameyang only had 3 of them, and he missed 2 clear-cut opportunities. In fact, he only had 27 touches in 90 minutes. That is the lowest on the pitch. Now, I've not seen their goals, so I can't talk about them.
No.
But tell us a little bit about Bayern.
Well, there has been a slight crossover with the scripts here, but let's just touch on Bayern Munich before you head over to winners and losers and get it in more detail. They continue to be on good form under Jupp Heynckes. 3 games played, 3 wins, 10 scored, 0 conceded. One particularly standout performance in this game came from Corentin Tolisso. He has now got 2 goals and 2 assists already in Bavaria. He's looking like an exciting package. Of course, joined for 45 million euros in the summer, playing in a 4-2-3-1 system.
Package.
Yes, a very exciting package. Playing in that 4-2-3-1 system under Jupp Heynckes alongside Arturo Vidal, and just behind James Rodriguez, who is not having the best of time, hauled off, of course, at half-time at the weekend for Thomas Müller, who then tore his hamstring. In fact, it was actually his quad, tore his quad. He's out for 5 to 6 weeks. A big blow for Jupp Heynckes, who has just made him captain of the team as well. So, Bayern scrabble their way to the top of the league after that 1-0 victory over a terrible Hamburg side. But if you want more detail on that, head over to Winners and Losers, where me and this idiot have broken the game down into some serious analysis.
So that was this week's Euro Roundup, guys. We hope you enjoyed. Joseph, what's happening now on FD apart from Winners and Losers?
Apart from Winners and Losers, we've launched FDFC, so make sure you go over and follow that YouTube channel. Follow my other YouTube channel, Balls Up. We haven't plugged that on Euro Football Daily before, so give that a little shout out. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye.